The action was wet and wild at the opener of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series in Florida. And as the two best friends, Chris Bithell and Chris Borich, bounced off each other all day long, things literally boiled over, with Borich taking the win. Good news, boys. More mud awaits. Hello everyone and welcome to round two. It's the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis, an AMA National Championship. Coverage on RacerTV.com. Jason Wygant giving you the call, and this is your Maxxis General GNCC. Now one of the longest running events in the championship, been here over 10 years now, and we know what this event is all about. That slippery red Georgia clay, a big contrast to the Florida round that led us into it, although a little bit of rain all week long has made it a little bit muddy, which is not completely unlike what we were dealing with last weekend. There is Chris Borich, your defending series champ, now tied in all-time Grand National cross-country wins. If he wins today, he will be your all-time winner. Walker Fowler here on the AmPro NFAB Yamaha, hoping to prevent that from happening. Actually, there's a lot of riders that are hoping to. Chris Bithell, he kept the heat on Borich all day long at the opener. He would like to do it, and there's Adam McGill, who is tough on any terrain. Kevin Yoho, steadily improving year after year, week after week, now running that number 5 based on last year's championship standings. Watch for him as well, the distinctive green livery on his machine. So a lot of riders that could win, but really this will be a battle just as much between the riders, Mother Nature, and the riders and terrain as it will with each other. Let's drop the hammer and go racing. We're battling through the first turn. Twin Air DeRisi Racing, whole shot money on the line, and it is Adam McGill on the RacingPowersports.com, PyroMX.com machine out front, but quickly overhauled here by Fowler. Young kid now in his third year in the XC1 Pro class after sweeping every single round in the XC2 Pro-Am division a few years back. But Fowler usually is struck down by bad luck at the early races. This year he's determined to start the year a little bit stronger, and we'll see if he's able to do that. Right now, looking good. And look at Chris Borich here, the number 1, a lot further back. See Pickens and Wolf coming through here. Bad start for the number 4 of Bithell. There's Johnny G, Johnny Gallagher, the number 7, the number 6, Braden Henthorn. One of the younger riders in this division. Everyone fighting for position. It's actually spread out a lot more early here at the General than usual. Now we get down here. Look at how much different the course conditions are. As it is just mud down in these valleys. Not a ton of elevation change here in Georgia. Not nearly what we're going to see at the next couple of rounds through the Carolinas. But this slippery soil, that's all the challenge anyone needs. Just saw number 9. That's Bryson Neal, last year's XC2 Pro-Am champ, now a rookie in this division. Similar situation to where Fowler was a few years ago. And look at what a racer Fowler has become. Running that number 2 on the machine. The starts have really been a problem for him since moving into this XC1 class. Today, figuring it out, getting around his good buddy McGill and trying to put the hammer down and get away from him as they work their way through the fields. McGill keeping it close in the number 2 spot. And then Borich takes a look over, trying to figure out where is everybody. No one in front, no one behind. He's all alone by himself in third on that Maxxis back Suzuki. But that's all right. If you're Chris Borich, you'll be happy to be in third early. He tries to make his moves late. You see Yoho battling it out in the number 4 position. Going to take our start. Another look at it with Rocky Mountain ATV MC's Exmo replay. Here we go. McGill, you see that iron cross bumper right there in the center. He's got it from the center of turn 1, leading them into the entrance of turn 2. He's under control. Pickens on the number 8, and the number 2 of Fowler coming up just short. Fowler then was able to work his way around McGill, but look, McGill has hooked back up with Fowler. Boy, they did a lot of work here, a lot of mulching apparently through this section. And there is a motocross track, as always, incorporated into this course. They call it Aonia Pass here in Washington, Georgia. So a good variety of terrain. You've got the slippery, fast stuff out in the fields. You got some motocross. You got some more oddball terrain like these mulch groups and a motocross track. Yoho dealing with pressure. He's actually gotten around Borch, so nicely done for the big nuts. And again, I'm kind of surprised. Usually you see the pack a little bit closer than this early on. So these boys are going to have some work to do. You see the number 10 of Jared McClure. They're going to have to really pick up the pace to get to this guy. And McGill as well is right with him. Looks like Borich has taken the measure of Yoho again. Yoho hanging in there. Then it's Bithell and GT Thunderback 341, Brian Wolf, and the 10 of McClure. So you can see the rush is on. Bithell, Wolf, McClure. They realize the gap they have to make up. They're not messing around any longer. They made a couple of quick moves to get around a bunch of riders and now try to set their sights on the lead group. So you got that duo up front, then Borich in third. You got Yoho hanging with him. Bithell and Wolf as well. So two packs right now, the lead duo and then this chase pack trying to go after them. Stay with us on Racer TV.
Twins have notoriously been very hard on crankshafts because that big long stroke of those two cylinders just flexes the crankshaft around. So we were seeing bearing issues. Research development people at AMSOIL could show us that it was likely an oil problem. And they were correct. That was the issue. Instead of having to redesign the engine, I just had to do a better quality oil.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Walker Fowler continues to control it here. Watching the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series presented by Maxxis. It's an AMA National Championship. Good to have the good folks in the AMA back involved with the series this year. Racing these things on four wheels basically since four-wheel ATVs first came into existence, and before that they had racing for three-wheelers, so over 30 years of this type of competition. Chris Borich, who's in third right now, if he wins the race today, will become the all-time leader in Grand National Cross Country wins, and that includes both the ATV and the bike side. He is actually currently tied with the legendary Barry Hawk, who won 7 ATV championships, then switched over to bikes full-time and won a bike title as well. Here's Fowler into the Am-Pro Yamaha pit. That's actually the crew that Barry Hawk used to ride for on the bike side. And a pretty cool deal there with Fowler. He, like Barry Hawk, was a two-sport star, so to speak. He was a dominator both on youth ATVs and dirt bikes. And coming out of the youth dirt bike division, raced for that Am-Pro team on the motorcycle. Then decided that he was going to focus fully on the ATV side. And again, what a racer he has become, as we see Borich here in his pit, in and out. See the fire extinguisher they're running? That's a trick they came up with a few years ago. They'll actually use the fire extinguisher to hose off the radiators on these machines during the pit stops. Try to clear them out so the engines can get more cool air. Although I don't think the mud is quite as big a factor as everyone feared it would be today. You see some of these sections in the woods, they're slinging it off to where this main line is fairly dry. It's still very slippery, but it's not a problem as far as packing the radiators or getting stuck. This running order has changed quite a bit. This group, it's the same general riders, but the order continues to change. You still have McGill trying to keep the heat on Fowler, although right here Fowler looks to have made a little bit of a breakaway. Ooh, perhaps I should not say little bit. It's actually a large lead now, and this is dangerous turf if you're McGill in second, because he doesn't have anyone to pace off of. It's so much easier to ride behind someone when you can follow the lines and key off of them. Now he's all by himself, and he has the hunter back here, Borich in third. Now Borich in a similar situation. He's all by himself. But, you know, Borich is going to dig down deep. He's always strong late in these races. Bithell up to the number 4 spot on the number 4, the Maxxis Precision Suzuki. It has strung out just a bit. Oh, not for long. McGill now closing back up on Fowler. So whatever mistake McGill must have made to lose ground, he's gotten it right back. Oh, nice line by Fowler. And look, McGill follows him through. That's what I'm talking about. That opportunity to learn the lines from the guy in front of you, to key off of him. I don't know if that was faster through the loops, but it saves a lot of energy. And in a 2-hour race, if you do the math on avoiding each one of these bumps, really add up to a lot of energy saved at the end of the day. And I'll throw in another factor with this race. Normally there is at least a 1 weekend break between GNCC events, but here in Georgia, as a lot of you folks know, we run it back-to-back weekends in Florida, so a little bit less rest and recovery time. These guys sure look fresh despite that. It's been the Fowler and McGill show all day long.
Sometimes you come across something so different, you just have to stop and check it out. The Rocky Mountain ATV MC website has everything you need, from our huge selection of tires, ATV and UTV accessories, and OEM parts, to our online chat, customer reviews, and instructional videos. Our extensive inventory means most orders arrive in 3 days or less. Get low prices, quick shipping, and incredible customer service. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Hammer down time for Walker Fowler, who has led pretty much from the outset. Did not quite grab the whole shot today, but maneuvered his way into the lead right around this section, which is early in the lap. Here we are a lap later, and he still has it. And still in second is McGill. That little double jump got a little kick to it now. It was a nice smooth jump on the first lap. This time around, it's throwing these guys all sorts of sideways. Now what's going to happen with this rider, Chris Borich? He has some serious ground to make up. He has not been within sight of that lead duo so far all day long. And Chris Bithell's still hanging it out. Same thing. Something about the way this race is developed today, a little bit different than usual. You normally get the lead group bouncing off of each other early, and then it starts to stretch out down the stretch. As people put their real race pace together, they usually save a little something late. Today it might be the opposite. They're going to start out and spread out, and then perhaps it'll close up in the end. Boy, does that section look nice or what? That is perfect soil for what we thought could be a muddy day today. Now I think they've even gotten down into some of that loose stuff. Either way, it's worked out for Fowler. No change in the running order. Check in again with these boys in a second, but let's give you the highlights of our Can-Am morning race. And I'm excited about this. We talked about it at round one, the all-new Pro 4x4 class. And we have got a who's who of former utility champions in different divisions battling it out here. The 203 of Kevin Trantham off to the early lead. He won the opener in Florida, looking good. Here comes the Polaris. That's Michael Swift in the number 2 spot. Robert Smith, Jordan Phillips, Rick Checo, Brian Buchanan, and Corey Savage. Again, these are a lot of riders with experience winning titles, but this year, Grand National Cross Country Racing putting them all together in one class. We used to have a limited class for relatively stock machines. We had different displacement limits. Now we're just saying, run what you brung in the open class. And look at this finish. Jordan Phillips just able to top Brian Buchanan to take the win today. Rick Checo would take third, and some bad luck for Trantham, who led the first 3 laps, but ended up not finishing with problems. That's something that can bite you in cross-country racing, and since Trantham won the opener, it's going to mix up the points big time. Look at Fowler, keeping those rear wheels hooked up and driving, and that pace allowed him to get away from McGill for the second time today. Now, McGill was able to close back in the last time around. I'm not seeing the same level of aggression, though, out of McGill that we are seeing from Fowler. Borich trying the right side through that mulch pile. Problem is, you got a couple of hundred other riders in the Pro-Am, the A and the B classes out here, and they are tearing this course up. So every time they get to the whoops, the line has changed completely. You just have to love the riding style, though, of Fowler. He's so still on the top of that machine. He's not getting bucked around nearly as much. See the head bobbing just a little bit and that big G out rough stuff. for McGill. Fowler is saying just on top of the machine, a big buck there also from Boric. There's never been a doubt of the skills or speed of this kid, Walker Fowler. But racecraft, obviously, Boric has been at this game in the pro division for over 10 years, or it's only the third year for Fowler. So he's still learning. And to go out and win one of these things virtually wire to wire, they're going to say 1 lap to go now, is not easy. But he's making it look that way today. Uh-oh, look over the shoulder from McGill. Takes the hand off the bar. Is that a celebration, or is he getting a little bit of arm pump? We're going to see. Usually never celebrating with you realize Boric is right behind you.
What do you call a machine that combines precision-engineered handling, industry-leading power, and a rider-focused design? We call it a Can-Am. From the essentials to fully loaded, you'll find that same combination in every ATV and side-by-side we build. And right now, get your own for as low as $149 a month. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
Racer TV is brought to you by AMSOIL, by Rocky Mountain ATV MC, and by Can-Am. Fowler continuing to push. Kid out of Ohio has dominated the proceedings today. Oh, looks like Boric has now made the move on McGill. You can see McGill looking over. He knew the battle was coming, and he's still, of course, giving the high signs to a cameraman because nobody but nobody has more fun at the races, or during the races, actually, than McGill. But there's so much ground to be made up as far as Boric trying to catch Fowler. He had a 34-second lead over McGill when this final lap began. So Boric's going to have to make up a ton of ground. Normally, when he makes the patented Chris Boric last lap pass, he is all over your bumper. He's leaning on you, running it in on you, leading into the white flag. But in this case, he can't even see the number 2. Now, we've heard that there have been brake problems for Bithell, who is in 4th. So that's probably going to take him out of contention in this fight for the podium. So I think the positions are set. The question is, what will the order be? Boric has got to go. This is not a situation we're used to seeing. Your defending champ, 5-time champion. He's got the Boric bandits up there in the yellow T-shirts cheering him on. We're not used to seeing him desperate on the last lap to make up a little more ground. Like I said, he's usually right there and ready to strike. And what Fowler is doing is a lot harder than it seems. Running by yourself, again, no one to key off of, no one to pace yourself off of. Oh, look at how strong he was to those whoops, though. Got a little crazy at the end. I think he almost had too much speed. But he has been able to figure out the race pace that no one can match without anyone around him. And that's so difficult. On the bike side of this game, it was years and years where no one was ever able to do that. They figure that out a little bit better nowadays, how to have everyone else behind them on lockdown. But on the ATV side, we know the way Boric likes to play it. He prefers to stay around the group early and then pin it late. But today, he's just too far back. Too much ground to make up, and this kid's running too fast. Now we see McGill popping back into the number 2 position and still pumping the fists. Check for earbuds in that helmet. Maybe he's got some techno music up in there. As he's made the move on Boric, I guess that is something to pump your fist over. Putting the champ back down on the final lap is not something we see often. But every move is a confidence maker, especially early in the season. And you know, as Walker Fowler closes in on a dominant victory here in Georgia, he's going to carry this confidence forward. Could the year be here where he's a championship rival of Boric? Could just be. That performance was a statement. I'm going to say a statement and a half. No one was even close today. Rev that thing out, and you've got reason to be happy. His dad rolls up there on the left side. They put it together today, and to make them feel even better, it looks like McGill is going to hold off Boric down the stretch. And there was a third for Fowler at the opener in Florida. So the way this is going to turn out, I believe we'll have a tie in points if Borich finishes third. There's some tough luck in the mud for McGill at round one. Nice bounce back for him here. And I told you, Fowler and McGill, they go way back. Their buddies off the track, so they're disgusted here. And they're happy they were able to slay the dragon, at least for today. Chris Borich, never able to make a run for the number one spot. He'll have to settle for third. Last year, Borich won the first 5 races of the year. So that gives you the idea of the kind of impact that this win and the second place finish from Fowler and McGill can have. Here are your AMSOIL results. Bithell hangs on for 4th despite the troubles. McClure 5th, Brian Wolf 6th. A pair of new kids, Wolf and Shadron in the top 10 along with Gallagher and Yoho. Let's send it to Jen Kenyon.
Walker Fowler, Georgia has been good to you, it's been bad to you, it's been indifferent, but today was a good day. Tell us about that win.
I knew that's what it was going to take. You got to get out there and push that Suzuki to its limit, and that's what me and McGill were just talking about here at the end. We got to start doing that, and honestly, we got to start doing even more than that because he's going to get something figured out here quick. So we both got off to a great start. Almost got that whole shot award. He snagged it from me and then spun out to get it, but went into the woods first and just rode smart and smooth all day. Had a couple mistakes, some bad lines, especially the last lap. I about threw it away, but you know, I'm really good at that. But luckily, there's certain times where it it works out in my favor. So definitely couldn't be more blessed to get this win today.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we've been talking about your Georgia 2 years ago where you actually had to push the bike through the finish line. That was an incredible showing of heart and strength, and it's got to feel that much better to come through the same finish line there out front.
Absolutely. Like you said, this place has been good, bad, and different. It's honestly been really good. It's just that last quarter mile that it just always seems to bite me. But, you know, this year, there wasn't a whole lot I could screw up in the last quarter mile. So just this motor, Moto Experts motor, Maxxis tires today, they're the title sponsor for the race. So awesome to get them almost a whole shot, lead the whole race, and you know, get that big win. The whole NFAB and Pro Yamaha crew that was out in the woods and in the pits did an awesome job today, and I couldn't be more excited right now. It's good to not let Chris get on a win streak early, you know, knock him down, and it ain't gonna be easy, but we're gonna try like heck to get this done this year.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big win for you here at round 2, Walker. Good job.
Thank you.
Here are the point standings. Like we said, we got a tie, a first and a third for both Borich and Fowler. Bithell not too far back either. This could just be an exciting one down to the wire after a couple of years of Borich domination. Let's give you the AMSOIL race recap. You heard Fowler explain it. McGill did everything he could to get the whole shot and then spins a little bit on the exit of turn 2, and that opens the door for the number 2 to grab the lead, and they flew in formation all day long. Occasionally Fowler would get away. McGill would close it back in. But as they paced each other, they were able to get a big enough lead early where there was nothing that Chris Borich, Chris Bithell, the rest of the contenders could do. They could not get close enough to put the heat on. No last lap patented Borich charge today. It was all about Walker Fowler. Thanks for watching.